all that good stuff. And then I'll throw to Sean, and Sean will introduce you. Okay. And then from there, we just kind of chat.
Awesome.
Cool. All right, and...
Whoa! Who knew I would make it this far? They hated, they never believe me. Yeah, I would never drop the ball. I know I make it look easy. Yeah, Mayweather with the defense. I don't care what a critic...
Did you just cut that short?
I did. What song? Which one is it on, Walker? The white one? See?
Well,
I messed up the intro, guys.
He's still new. Jeez.
Complete rookie move.
You're fired. John, do you need a job? Do you want to be on a podcast? I need a new host.
I could push buttons better than that.
See, there we go. Already throwing me under the bus, you guys. Jeez.
My wife's pretty good at pushing buttons, too.
Yeah, whatever. Well, we are back for another episode of the Lambo and Leroy Show. Thank you guys for tuning in. We are a podcast about a little bit of everything, a little bit of anything, and all the above.
Entrepreneurship, fun, exciting stuff, hard work.
Motorsports.
Racing, motorsports.
Today, we're actually adding a new genre.
We are.
We're adding a new genre, and we're super excited for it. Sean, what's going on today?
Oh, you're going to put it on me?
Yeah, it's all on you.
Oh, shoot. Manufacturers Monday. That's what we're calling it, right?
Well, we're not going to do that intro for that. We're doing our intro for John.
Oh, I thought that you were talking.
No, come on, man. We're adding a new genre.
You just kick us both out of
guns,
here.
dude.
All right.
I'm the new host of the show today.
There we go. See, we got a real host now.
So our new host is John Galletta. He is an Air Force vet, a raccoon dad, a published author. I want to hear more about that.
Okay.
An
That's
NRA
awesome.
and CCW certified firearms instructor.
That's
also, a huge fan of the automotive industry, been a part of it for a long time.
Absolutely.
Built vehicles.
Yeah.
John, why don't you make a quick introduction as the new host of the Lambo, Leroy and John show?
Yeah. So thank you guys for coming to my show today.
Yes.
Hey, that's what we're here for.
Yeah, so you got it right. They're Air Force veteran. I spent a lot of time, around military because I'm a Navy brat. So my dad moved us out to 29 Palms, and we spent a lot of time out in the desert there. And all of a sudden, I started picking up guns. And I started thinking, wow, I need to play with guns more.
It's awesome.
And
there's nothing else to do in 29 Palms.
I was going to say,
true.
That's a perfect place to play with them, too.
I think I could have been a herpetologist just by living out there. I know how to catch snakes and lizards,
That's all there is to do.
But shooting guns was fun.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I grew up. But going back to it, I'm an Air Force veteran. I spent time at the Federal Air Marshal Service. I have kind of a cool James Bond job with the Department of Energy where I'm a DHS certified instructor level 2 to the National Nuclear Security Administration's Counterterrorism Operations Support Program.
Oh my God, that's a mouthful right there.
I mean, that's like you need 2 business cards for that title. Right?
I just need one that just has the title with no phone number, nothing. That's a way to catch chicks, right?
Exactly. They're like, what?
They're like, okay, here's my phone number.
Yeah, that's Jason Bourne.
Exactly.
So what is that exactly, or what can you elaborate on?
Yeah, so I have a background in radiation, and got that while I was in the military working with nuclear weapons, and so my background brought me to the Department of Energy, kind of headhunted, which was cool.
That's awesome.
And we teach first responders how to mitigate terrorist use of nuclear and radiological weapons. And that's, like I said in class when you were there, I was like, that's the next thing I think to unfortunately fall on this land is a nuclear detonation of some sort, whether it be small or really insignificant, or radiological dispersal device, which is just a disruptor. So I think one of those somewhere along the lines of that may land here, unfortunately.
And so there's a full training method on how to handle each one, what to do with the public, the actual radiation itself.
Yeah,
and
we take people out to, actually the classes are hosted in the Amargosa Valley, out at the National Nuclear Test Sites, 18,500 square miles of top secret desert.
Wow.
And
18,000 miles.
Yeah, 18,500 square miles. And on the border of it is Area 51. It's kind of cool.
Wow.
Yeah. So you see like the random airplanes come in Area 51 and out?
I've been out there, I'm looking down at a pad, a notebook, and I'm looking down, and it's bright sun outside, and I'll see a a silhouette of a weird plane fly over, and I'm like, how come I can't hear that?
Wow.
Yeah, and
No way.
I've looked up before and seen these really weird shapes and just
Just
no
keep
sound.
going.
So essentially an UFO.
Yeah, UFO. Don't know what it is.
And they fly them, they test them out there.
You heard it here first, guys. It's real.
It's a real deal.
I can neither confirm nor deny.
That's unreal.
But
That's
it's really cool. And I mean, that whole property is very, very historic. And I love the desert, growing up in 29 Palms, but I love the desert. I like anything to do with the desert. But more interesting is the fact that 984 nuclear weapons were detonated out there. So it's a very, very historical property.
Yeah.
You can't pick anything up. You can't take anything with you.
Don't touch anything.
Yeah, don't touch anything. I mean, the radiation levels out there from those blasts is all, long subsided.
Okay.
But it's still really cool. I mean, to see the old benches that the press sat on when they detonated in the trenches.
That is
And
crazy.
one of the coolest spots is called the teapot test, and it's called the Apple One test that they did May 5th, 1955 at 5:55 a.m. The guy who pushes the button gets to pick the time and the date. So he picked May 5th, 1955, 5:55 a.m. and he detonated a bomb that was 500 feet above the surface on a tower. And when he detonated that, they got all that footage that you see all the time of those houses getting blown over. Yeah. So there were 3 of those. The first Apple house is 3,333 feet away from ground zero, and then 3,333 further, and then
so
3,333. They're all equally spaced.
Yeah.
And they were built differently. They were built to resemble a 1955 style home.
Yeah.
So one was all brick, one was brick and drywall kind of thing, and the other one was just solid brick.
Okay.
And the first one got obliterated. That's the one you see, just
Wiped out.
Yeah, wiped out. Second one survived, and the third one survived.
Okay.
So at about a mile away, they're good from what that bomb actually did.
Wow.
Anything inside there was literally obliterated. And
So
pretty cool.
truly just trial on air.
Yeah, oh yeah. And the coolest thing about it is there used to be an old guy out there named Ernie, and he had been out there for all 984 detonations. The coolest thing is I was like, Ernie, so where'd you get all the mannequins? And he's like, got them from JCPenney. I go, what? And he goes, and the ones that we didn't blow up, I returned.
That's a lot of mannequins, though.
Yeah, it's so cool though, that history. He goes, I'll take you out. I'm sure he's passed on now, but he said, I'll take you to where I buried all the other ones, And it's just,
Throw them all in a big hole and
big hole and dumping all these, plastic bodies in there.
Well, I mean, we think of the deserts out there being such a desolate area, but and so much wide open space, but there's so much history and stories tied to all the deserts that surround us. I mean, from the people that have lived there forever, I mean, their stories, what they've seen, there's a ton of history from the deserts out there.
Much.
And it's hard to imagine there's actually that much open space, It's so weird just to imagine it. Because you're driving along, you see houses here, you see houses there.
Yeah.
And then off the highway, there's hundreds and thousands of miles of nothing.
Yeah.
So it's just wild.
It's 150 miles north of Las Vegas in the Amargosa Valley on the way to Tonopah.
Yeah.
And so you're going, and then you see the sign. It's just like one little sign, Amargosa Valley, and you turn there. And the driveway to the property is 17 miles long, and somebody's watching you the whole way.
The whole time, for sure.
It's 17 miles long. So as soon as you turn right off the road, you'll see a white line.
Yeah.
You can't take any cameras or listening devices past that. That's the beginning of the property, even before you're in the gate.
That's awesome, though. I mean, that's...
Yeah. They're still actively testing there.
Yeah, they don't test any above ground nuclear weapons anymore. They've figured out a way to test... for lack of a better term, microscopic testing of nuclear weapons that they can figure out with math. If we if we had this big, how big would the blast be?
Okay,
so they'll do this stuff, and they'll do it underground in tunnels and stuff, and just resembles like a firecracker. Just go.
And Area 51 out there is still active from what you know, everything?
As far as I know.
As far as I know.
Yeah. Okay. There's a crater that we take the students to. It's called the Sedan crater. And it's one of the biggest holes you'll ever see in the ground from a nuclear weapon. They buried this one, I believe it was in 1963, July or something in 1963. They buried it 600 feet below the ground.
Holy crap.
And when it exploded, it displaced 200 short tons, sorry, what's the number? 200 million short tons of dirt. And
so how long is like the crater? How wide is it?
Well, we used to do this thing a long time ago before our supervisors found out and got mad. But we tell a student, if you could throw a rock to the center of that, we'd buy them lunch. And they don't even get to the close.
Yeah,
they don't even get close to the center.
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn.
And it's this huge crater. Well, apparently, next to that is a dirt road. Well, there is a dirt road. There's a gate there and a dirt road. And there's usually these white pickup trucks that sit up on the berms, and they got tinted windows, and they're just watching us, when we bring the buses out of all the students.
Yeah.
And they say that just past that dirt road, about a mile and a half, is Area 51. So every time we bring buses of students out there, we get a helicopter and 2 gunners sitting out there, and then the two guys parked up on the berm, and they're watching. It's kind of cool. Even
no
if
one's
it's
getting in.
Even if it's all bullshit, it's just
doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
It's
fear
cool.
factor. It's so cool. Yeah.
We tell them, like we'll get a student and we'll stand him out there by ourselves, and then we'll tell the other students without him knowing. We'll go back up, and then we'll do this. We'll back up away from him so that he's the only guy standing in the middle of nowhere, and then we kind of duck and crouch. So
everyone's like, "What's happening? What's happening? What's happening?"
He's gonna get blown up right there.
Well, because when you're there, there's so much unknown.
Oh yeah.
You just don't. really know, and you're you're kind of treading lightly of what's right, what's wrong, and you kind of stick to your spot.
Yeah,
you don't want to explore.
Yeah, you don't explore.
Don't even look around. Don't look over there. Don't even look over there.
The wildlife is amazing out there.
Really?
Yeah.
They all got 5 legs and 3 eyes.
Yeah. And they got donkeys that chirp like birds.
Nice. They got beaks.
Yeah. No, there are no mutations with radiological stuff, like a lot of people say. But if you have a camera, they let you go on the property with your phone, but they can tell if your phone takes a picture.
Wow.
And if your phone takes a picture, they have these automated, they're like little tanks. They're probably a little shorter than the width of this room here. So I'd say probably about 8 feet long. And it's a multi-track vehicle.
Let me guess. It comes up, little robot grabs your phone, puts it on the ground, blows it up, and it takes off.
It's like this little tank drives up, and then armed guys come out and they arrest you if you take a picture with your phone.
What if you accidentally take a screenshot or something?
You could do that. You could take a screenshot of stuff, but somehow they have some technology that can tell if your phone takes a picture. And
it's pretty awesome.
I don't know if it's awesome or scary.
No, I mean,
I think it's pretty awesome actually.
Yeah,
to have that kind of technology that can tell. I don't think they have that anywhere outside of there. You know? And if they did, big deal. I took a picture.
Who cares? Yeah.
But they arrest you. They take you to Tonopah's 3 hours away.
Yeah.
And then they release you, and there are no Ubers out there.
And Tonopah's a little town out there.
Yeah, it's a little spot. And they release you out of jail after they book you in, and there are no Ubers.
And you don't have your phone either.
Nope. They take your phone forever.
Oh, my God. And forever.
Yeah, but the animals, I mean, I've seen burros, antelope like crazy.
Really?
If you could hunt that area, man, antelope are amazing.
I guess they're safe
out
there, right?
Owls, huge owls, big eagles.
Wow. Eagles.
See a lot of rattlesnakes, bobcats, mountain lions. You see everything. You know why? It's protected.
Exactly.
So 18,500 square miles out there, there are no predators other than natural ones.
No one's
It's amazing.
You can't drive. No one's gonna hit you in a car.
No one's gonna.
Safe.
You're not gonna run across the road and get hit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
tortoises. That's the other thing.
Oh, tortoises.
If you see a tortoise, like the world comes to a screeching stop out there.
Yeah.
If you stop on the road, you see a tortoise. You have to report it on the radio.
Yeah.
And then you have to tell them which direction the tortoise is going.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, they're really endangered. I know that.
They're very endangered.
Yeah, because I know even in Vegas, all that, we go out there for Lafayette races.
Yeah.
Same thing. If you see a tortoise, you got to call it in right away. You got to, they say don't touch it, but try to stay by it so they know where it's at. And it's crazy. Yeah.
Pretty
cool.
cool.
About it.
So now, what are you training when you go out there?
Well, we teach first responders how to read equipment.
Okay.
How to learn new equipment that detects and identifies radioactive isotopes. So we show them how to use new equipment, and a lot of these agencies have equipment that they don't know how to use, so they come out there to train.
Now, is that, are there quite a few people, like let's say in the SoCal area we are, that are trained to handle that?
The FBI in Los Angeles has what's called the RNSO, the Rad Nuke Search Operations, and I'm a member of that. And so if anything gets stolen or lost, they'll call a couple people with know experience in handling the material and experience in handling the devices that will identify it, and then we'll go out and search for it.
Wow,
that's unreal. How often does something like that happen?
It's rare.
Yeah, I kind of figured.
It's rare. I mean, the most common isotope to be stolen is cesium-137. It's medical isotope, and they're these little metal pellets that they use. I don't even know how they use them in medicine, but they come in these big 55-gallon drums. And the vans have to transport that stuff to hospitals, and sometimes vans get jacked. You know? Or it's sitting in the parking lot and somebody breaks a window and steals it. Yeah, they don't know what it is
for sure.
Because you can pick up radiation and not feel anything.
That's true.
You don't turn into a spider like Peter Parker. You don't get superhuman.
Superhuman.
Because if that happened, I'd be rubbing it all over. Like put it on me. Yeah, put it on me. I want some webs.
So you're training that now. You also do a lot of firearms training.
CCW.
How did you get into that, and where did it start, and what is it now?
So how I got into it was I was in the military back in the 80s. Dated myself a little bit. Got out in 1988.
Okay.
But what I was there was a firearms instructor. After I got out of basic training, went to it'd be my third assignment in England. I was at RF Upper Hayford in England. I became a monitor basically for the firearms that we had, and then they go, well, we need somebody to teach them how to use it. And I go, shit, I know how to use a gun. Yeah. So that's kind of how and that was kind of like unofficial, I was like, you just point and squeeze the trigger,
like a squirt gun, right?
Yeah. And it was pretty basic. And then when I got out of the military, I went to work for Heiser Helicopters in Corona.
Okay. Nice.
And I worked there as a helicopter pilot. I was signed on as a student because I was finishing my license that I started in the military. I was not a helicopter pilot in the military.
Yeah.
It wasn't until I actually started in the military, but then I finished when I got out.
Wait, so you're a helicopter pilot too?
Yeah.
You still fly?
I don't. Yeah. I'm afraid of myself now. Get older and
it's scary, man.
The last time I was flying for work, I was thinking about something else and almost had my ass handed to me.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I got pretty scared. I was with my boss. I thought I'd get fired, but he's like, nope, it's good.
So, I mean, if you're in a helicopter right now, I don't know, let's say one that we see flying around like a news helicopter or something, the guy passed out, you can still take over the controls and land
if I can move him out of the seat, but
okay.
if he stays there, we're SOL.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But if I could move him out of the seat, I could land. Yeah, no problem.
Wild.
Yeah.
Okay, so then from there you went into and started training.
Yeah, so I was doing firearms training. I ended up at the helicopter company, and then friends of mine would say, "Hey, let's go shooting," and I'd say, "Okay," and a lot of them didn't really know what they were doing, so I really learned from people better than me. So I started imparting the knowledge that I was given, and started helping them out. I have some family members that are in the SEAL teams, and one of them is a very well-known sniper.
Wow.
And so I went to his class and I learned from him, and I still don't know everything he knows. I mean, that guy's a genius. And so I said, this is really cool. I'm gonna try to make a profession out of this. Excuse me. I went to NRA instructor school. Shit, that's been over 30 years ago.
Wow.
And it just kind of latched on. Where we really saw the increase in, students showing up was during COVID, when all the riots and stuff were happening.
Yeah.
People were coming over going, I'm scared.
I mean, honestly, that's why I reached out to you also. Yeah. We've communicated more through those times.
Yeah,
just kind of like, I felt like I want to be able to protect myself.
For sure.
I don't want to, But
you want to be able. You want to be
now,
able to if you have to.
Yeah, exactly.
You got to kind of watch, your surroundings, and since those times, our surroundings got muckier and muckier.
You definitely got scary times for sure. Give us the insight. I mean, everyone. I always think of. I've always wanted to do it.
Yeah.
But everyone talks about it as in it's very hard to get, or it's they're not going to get approved, so don't even try it. Blah blah blah. Like, how does CCW work?
So I teach for the Riverside County Sheriffs, and that county it's extremely easy to get a CCW with them now. Okay. Chad Bianco, our sheriff there, is the best sheriff in the nation.
Yeah,
he absolutely is. Yeah. And so he believes in the Second Amendment, and he knows that his officers can't be where they're needed when they're needed. Yeah. A lot of the time because they cover so much area.
Yep.
It's the 4th largest sheriff's department in the nation.
It's huge.
Up until June, let's see, was it June? Yeah, up until June 24th of 2022.
Okay.
You had to provide a good cause statement. You had to say why you needed one. And at the time, California was a may issue state, which meant that the sheriff of the county may issue a CCW to you based on your good cause. If it wasn't good enough, if you said, I hate gangbangers and I just want to shoot them, you're not going to get one.
What was a good cause?
Good cause is, I'm a business owner. I travel to and from my business to the bank. I carry large amounts of cash.
Yeah.
That was kind of the
That's
generic
what I
go-to.
heard, yeah.
But if you said I live remotely, I hike in areas that I know are populated by natural predators, mountain lions, bears, whatever, and you can articulate that based on different crimes that occurred. So like if you said, "Hey, I hike Rubidoux Mountain," there were a lot of muggings and robberies there at gunpoint.
Wow.
So if you said, I hike Rubidoux Mountain, and I know that there are a lot of these crimes that occur, they'd give you a CCW.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
But now that's recently changed, right?
Yeah. So as of June 24th, 2022, the Supreme Court ruled on a case that was called Bruin versus New York Rifle Pistol Association or Rifle Pistol Club. Basically against New York.
Okay.
So this guy Bruin was a shop owner, and he requested a CCW because he had been robbed many times, and the city of New York denied him. They said, that's not good enough. That's not a good enough reason. Yeah, I was like,
wow.
What? That's not good enough? And they said,
New York is so anti-guns, right?
Yeah. They said, just call the cops when that happens.
You're like, what is good
and
enough
they're not going to do anything for you.
No,
like,
he got beat up, I think, once,
Wow.
and he said, I need a gun to protect my business and my family. And they denied him. So he took his case to court, and it went all the way to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court ruled, that was June 24th, that, it was unconstitutional to deny somebody based on the fact that they had a cause that somebody didn't agree with.
Wow.
The Supreme Court said you no longer need a cause. That's a violation of the Second Amendment. All you should have to do is ask for one, and you should be granted one. So that's what's happened to all the states here. Everybody's changed, and they don't want to.
But they have to?
They have to.
Yeah,
it's
good.
a Supreme Court ruling.
Good.
Yeah, it's a Supreme Court ruling that says, you must issue a CCW to somebody who applies for one. But cities in Los Angeles area have constantly said, well, we don't have a CCW unit established yet, and we don't know when we'll get that, and just keep checking back.
So
that's a violation. Yeah. So just the other day, 2 days ago, the sheriff in San Francisco said, he was bragging. He said, I am so happy I have not issued one CCW in over a decade. And they just issued their first one 2 days ago.
Yes.
So now turning the faucets on big time. Same
Now
with the state of Hawaii. State of Hawaii said, we're not going to issue CCWs. And when that ruling came down, their attorney general said, yeah, we got to start issuing CCWs. And they weren't ready for it. And the line of people standing up, because you couldn't park your car there in line, just the people standing up waiting to get into the Honolulu Police Department was 4 miles long.
Oh my gosh.
Like when you think about it too, this is the biggest threat against crime.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
You have
Absolutely.
a safer society if the criminals don't know who's armed.
Yes.
And if you arm them all,
Then it's
good.
Yeah.
But we here in California, we had 2 deputies murdered in the line of duty in
so
2
sad.
weeks.
Yeah,
Isaiah Cordero and Darnell.
it's so horrible.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Yeah.
Riverside sheriffs hadn't lost inline duty or inline death. Sorry. In over a decade.
Oh my God.
Might have been 2 decades that they hadn't had. It was a decade. Yeah, it was a decade. But they hadn't had any loss of life in that long, that period of time. And all of a sudden they have 2 in the same week. And it's just terrible.
Yeah.
But the problem is these, legislators that, want to go soft on crime, let these guys out. And
because both cases, I think, were people that were left out early on bail. They should not have been.
Isaiah's killer was out on $500 bond after he carjacked somebody.
Oh my God.
He should have received a sentence right there. He was a third striker. He should have gone to court, and the court should have said, "I'm going to remand you into custody 25 years." That's what should have happened.
Yeah. Of course.
And then the judge goes, "Oh, we'll let him out, $500." $500 bond.
As an excuse, their excuse is what? We're overwhelmed. We can't handle this right now. Give us time.
Judges in Riverside County just dismissed over 500 felony cases because they said, we don't have time. We don't have room on the calendar. And the DAs went back and said, hey, continue these. Just continue them. Put them on the calendar for a later date.
Yeah.
And they go, no, we're just going to dismiss them. So guys that had been arrested for like felony carjacking, using a firearm in the commission of a crime, were just dismissed. And they said,
good. Go ahead, you're fine.
Yeah, go ahead, you're fine.
Exactly. These are people that were paying to be in that place to protect us.
Yes, exactly.
We elected them.
Yeah. And then they're doing this to us, which is
it's horrible.
Yeah.
And bunch of idiots.
Yep.
And then it's, so I applied for my CCW. And the reason why I reached out to you was also my son is in high school.
Yep.
My, wife is a high school teacher. And for a while, there's been a lot of, shootings or attempted shootings in high schools. And it wasn't so much that I wanted my wife and son to know how to shoot someone. I wanted them to know what to do in that situation, be familiar with the sounds.
Yeah.
If
someone's wrestling, it's like firecrackers. It's not.
Yeah, I mean, if
you
someone
can tell the difference.
You can tell the difference for sure.
Yeah, or if someone's like wrestling the guy down, the gun, it falls. They can take control of it and know what to do.
Yeah, exactly.
So how long is your class?
The CCW class that we do is 1 8-hour class.
Nice.
Which is cool.
That's amazing, yeah.
Yeah, 1 8-hour, you get a classroom. I do some things that a lot of instructors don't do, and I talk about fear and how fear will take over your body.
Yeah, it will.
It's realistic, but you get all these other guys that watch YouTube videos, and then they become instructors, and they go out and teach people how to be cool. And there's no being cool in a shooting. Somebody's shooting bullets at you, you're going to shit your pants.
Yeah.
You're going to be, like, whoa.
Yeah.
And fear is going to take over. I'm not sitting here saying that I'm not scared, thinking that if that happened, I would be, just bulletproof and stand up and, run towards fire.
Well, you can't practice that situation.
It's not a movie.
We did practice at the Air Marshal Service. We had a 3D screen. We would go to a company in Orange County called Artemis Defense, and they had a 3D screen, and you would shoot at video.
Yeah.
And even doing that was cool until they added an earplug shooter. So, those little foam earplugs.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
So if you missed your target, this earplug shooter would shoot an earplug at you, and that would startle the hell out of you.
Wow.
You go, oh, and your blood pressure would skyrocket, and then you'd start, fumbling around because you just got shot,
So, that was what's awesome about the classes. It was very real. It wasn't like it was sugar-coated to be cool. It was just real. This is very serious.
Mm-hmm.
This is what you're gonna do. You even showed us a few ways of how to I think probably the wrong. Right there. Yeah, fuck. Yeah.
So your heart starts pounding.
Yep.
And when your heart's pounding, initially, I ask people, "What's it doing?" And they go, "Oh, it's pumping blood." But where does it come from? Where does the blood come from? It comes from your intestines and your stomach, and it goes to your extremities because you might have to fight or fly. And these are things that your body does without you having to tell it to.
Yeah, it just does it.
It's gonna happen. And you have to take control of that. And so to slow your heart rate down, you make like a knife fist hand, and shove your hand under your carotid or under your jaw, in line with your jaw, and push against your carotid artery and grunt down, and your heart rate will slow down. Really? Because if you don't get control of your heart rate, then everything's just going to keep going.
Yeah. You start making sporadic things. Your adrenaline starts going. You can't think clearly.
Eyes, dilate. Yeah. Your breathing is irregular. You have very robotic movement because you have muscular tension. Wow. And when you stick your hand under your jaw into your carotid artery and grunt down, it'll slow your heart rate down, and then your body starts to calm. Your body says, "Okay, we're good now." But you artificially had to turn it down. And without it, your body would just continue to escalate. Your organs would, be hyperactive. You have cortisol, adrenaline, coursing through your veins, and your pupils are dilated, and your vision becomes blurry, and then your thinking just goes to shit. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's probably the most important thing you need to do right there is breathe, think, and take the right action.
You just gotta be level-headed when you're doing this.
Yeah. So I live in San Bernardino County. Can I take your class?
That's a good question. You can't.
Okay.
Because San Bernardino County has a new sheriff. Sheriff Shannon Dykes. Actually went to high school with him out in 29 Palms.
Oh, wow.
He's a great guy. He's like Bianco. Okay. Fantastic sheriff.
Yeah.
He wants to be able to instruct or to be in every single class that they do.
Wow.
They do 2 classes a month. Oh. They don't do them often.
Is it hard to get in?
Yeah, they're backed up right now, but there's like 120 people in each class.
Oh, wow.
Oh, damn.
So he wants to be able to talk to the residents of San Bernardino County first. He's opening it up to people like us to do renewals.
Cool. Okay.
So you would apply directly with the San Bernardino County sheriffs. They'll have you complete the application, and then some point down the line you'll have an in-phone interview.
Okay.
Or on-phone interview.
Yeah.
And then they'll set up a training schedule for you.
Cool. And then the training's a one-day deal.
Yeah, it's a one-day
as
deal.
well.
Yep.
And then so now my fiance, she has never shot a gun in her life, and I have multiple guns. I've been shooting guns my whole life. Now, should I take her to like a handgun class first?
You can take her to our classes.
Okay, so I could take her to your class.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah, we do everything from basic NRA pistol courses all the way to advanced pistol.
Awesome.
Then we do CCWs for Riverside County, Arizona, Utah, Florida, several cities like Hemet, Temecula, Murrieta, Menifee, Banning, Beaumont. We do it for those police departments as well as some in LA now.
Now, if I have a license for Arizona, can I get an Arizona CCW, but it will not be valid here? Can I not carry here?
That's correct. Yeah. California doesn't share reciprocity with Arizona anyone. Or any other state. Yeah.
But does Arizona, if you have a California one, can you carry in Arizona?
No.
Okay.
In some other states you can. In Montana, they'll let you with a California CCW.
Okay.
There are a few other states that will let you.
Yeah.
But they don't share reciprocity, which means they don't share across border lines.
Gotcha.
The ability to carry a firearm.
So can you get multiple CCWs though?
Yeah.
So you can get one for each state, ultimately.
What we do is we offer Arizona-Utah package, and in that package, those 2 states share reciprocity with 38 states.
Oh, wow.
And once you get Arizona-Utah, you get 38 other states that you can carry in. And now, once you get your California, then you can drive straight across into Nevada or Arizona, and then keep going almost all the way to, now you can Florida, go all the way to Florida.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
So if you had California, Arizona, the Utah, then you could do
38 states.
Yeah.
That's and
really
you don't
awesome.
even need California to do the 38 states.
Yeah.
You just can't carry in California unless you have a California CCW. The 2 states that are difficult are Oregon and Colorado. Because they're like California. They want you to be a resident there.
Yeah.
Now, because Oregon borders California, you're a bordering state, and they will allow you to get a CCW, but you have to do the class in Oregon. You can't do it in California. So they make it difficult.
Yeah, they make it tough for you.
So now, like for him, since he can't go directly to your class and he gets his in California, does he apply separately to go to the other states?
No, then he can come to us for Arizona, Utah.
Oh, I can go to Arizona.
We can do Arizona, Utah with you.
Sweet. Okay.
We can do any
as
non-resident.
As long as I get San Bernardino done, then I could go to you for Arizona and Utah.
And you don't even
that's
need to
good for 38 states.
Yeah, and you don't even need to get California done through San Bernardino before you get your Arizona, Utah.
Oh,
so you can come to us right now, get your Arizona, Utah,
sweet.
and as soon as you go over there, you can carry your firearms.
Now, would that make it easier when I apply for San Bernardino?
Absolutely.
Like, I already have Arizona,
They're going to say,
Utah.
hey, you already got vetted out by 38 states.
Bitchin', I'm going to do that.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
Come to our class.
And how long is your waiting class? How long is your waiting list to get on yours?
That's pretty easy.
Yeah.
We hold those at the same time we hold all the initial and renewal classes.
Cool. And then how often do you renew?
2 years in California.
Okay.
For Arizona, Utah, every 5 years, and they don't care what gun you carry. So
you have to register your gun here, huh? Which you have to say you're carrying this gun.
Yeah. So in San Bernardino, you need or San Bernardino authorizes you to have 3 firearms on your CCW. No more than that. Riverside County allows you to have 6.
Oh wow.
Okay. So Sheriff Dicus, he says, I want somebody to be really familiar with at least 1 pistol.
Okay.
But we'll let them have 2 more.
Oh.
Chad Bianco says, I want you to learn how to use all your guns.
Yeah.
You know, and you can have 6,
That's
so
cool.
that's just the difference there.
Yeah.
It makes sense on both sides.
For sure. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, what are some of the misconceptions? Because I'm sure a lot of people are against CCWs. And, I don't know if it's because they think now people are going to go out and start getting in gunfights everywhere and hunting people.
That's what our stupid governor said. Can I say that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, everyone else does. So.
Yeah, Newsom. I have bumper stickers that we made that says, I wish Gavin knew something.
That's funny.
That is funny.
He's an idiot. I got to say, because every time a bad person commits a crime, he penalizes the good people by taking away their rights.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And he says, oh, yeah, the more guns we have. No. I've got a lot of guns.
Yeah.
I mean, I if somebody came in and Lord forbid they, searched my place, they'd go, this guy has enough to start his own army.
Yeah.
Big deal. It's my right.
Exactly.
And that's your passion.
Right.
It's your hobby. It's your everything.
It's your work. It's everything.
Girls carry, they collect purses and shoes and everything. And, guys collect guns.
I don't know. Yeah. The ladies that you have working for you, I don't feel like they're some pretty badass.
That's so rad.
All my women in there are hot. First of all, I can say that without having to go to HR. My girls are hot and they are smoking because they're all firearms instructors.
That's so
and
cool.
they're all very well experienced.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they're amazing. Hannah, Kelly, and Ani. They are amazing. And they can take women in who've never shot and make them feel comfortable.
See, that's what I was worried about. So, like, my girlfriend or my fiance, Chelsea, she's very timid. So I want her to be able to work with another female that could...
Hannah's this tall.
Oh, good.
Yeah. No,
they're all of them are petite and they're good looking and they speak really,
they're so comforting,
aren't they?
That's cool.
They really
so
are
comforting.
They're funny too. They got personalities.
Yeah.
Like you're not sitting there. So like, I think my misconception was you're gonna go sit there and you're gonna be trained by like a drill sergeant, right? Someone that's just gonna be
what I kind of figured.
on your ass.
Yeah, a guy that has a beard he didn't earn and tattoos and all these military acronyms. We don't do that. Cool. No, we teach it real.
It's real people, real life experiences. It's real. Like it's very comforting because you think like you're gonna be tested and grinded and
not.
Their main goal is to make sure that you are comfortable and aware of the consequences mainly, right?
Very much so. We drive that home all the time. Is if you're unprepared, if you're unaware of your surroundings, you're unprepared for an attack. But if you're out, your head straight up and you're looking around where you're going, then you can see something at a distance. That whole thing that BJ got caught up in it with was the fact that he had his head buried. Him and Tori were looking at their cell phones in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
And when you look away at night after looking at a cell phone, your night vision's gone.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm. And that's how they got caught up. But
so, can you explain more about that situation?
Yeah, they, Tori and BJ were at In-N-Out on Tropicana in Las Vegas, and it was about 1:44 a.m. They were the last car in the parking lot, and the lights had just gone out, and they were sitting there looking at their emails during quarantine.
Yeah.
It was a good way to get outside. Everybody was cooped up.
At 1:45 in the morning.
Yeah, 1:45 in the morning. What were they doing? Got them so hungry.
We don't wonder.
Inquiring minds want to know.
Yeah. Well, you're hungry at 1 a.m. Okay.
Yeah, so they go out and get something to eat. And these guys approached him from about 80 yards away, which is quite a distance.
That's pretty far.
Yeah, and if you're in the parking lot and you go, I don't want any trouble, and you see two hooded guys walking toward you, and you can't even tell anything else other than they're wearing hoodies up really tight, that to me is
you know something's going to happen.
A red flag, let's go.
Yeah, I'd get in the car and leave.
Yeah.
And he had the car to leave quickly in, too. He had that Porsche, That's his daily driver. But they were sitting there, and then all of a sudden, they're there at the car. And Tori notices him first, and then, non-verbally basically looks at BJ and then looks at them and looks at BJ again like, are you going to do something?
Yeah,
you got the gun.
They're trying to carjack us.
Well, and she's a shooter too, right?
She's a 4-time world champion.
She's a world champ, like,
Tori
best of the
Nanaka
best.
is a Glock pistol competitor, and she's badass.
Yeah.
I always tell everybody if she had the gun, she would have shot both of those guys and BJ for putting in that spot. That wouldn't have happened. BJ's a good friend, and we talk about it all the time. But he's a good shooter, man. I mean, there's no mincing words about the fact that when you got a hot girlfriend that's a pistol competitor. You can't sit down,
You better
You can't just kick back and go, well, I drive a truck.
Yeah, exactly.
He's got to be the man.
He's been a gun guy for a long time.
He's been a gun guy for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's really experienced. He's a good dude, But those two guys that came and tried to attack Tori and BJ won the damn lottery. Think about it. It's 1:44 a.m.
Yeah.
You're in Las Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
It's, middle of the night, like I said, and you walk up, there's two people in the parking lot. One dude's driving a Porsche GT.
Yeah.
And they are seemingly unarmed.
Yeah.
And as bad guys, you have a gun and you're walking up to them.
Oh, I got this.
And you encounter two fucking... Sorry.
Dude, you're good.
You encounter two world-class shooters.
Yeah.
They fucking won the lottery.
Yeah. It was.
It's surprising that both of them didn't just die of lead poisoning right there.
Yeah.
But what are the odds of that? These two guys walk up and go, hey, I'm going to jack this guy's car and I can get on the freeway. I can go south on the 15.
It's an easy getaway.
North on the 15, be gone, be lost. Nobody knows anything. And they walk up on two world-class shooters. And BJ shot that dude 9 times in the chest, once in the head before the dude even tipped over.
Wow.
Yeah.
And the other guy, ran?
Split. He ran. Yeah.
Oh my God.
And he ran away and he stayed running.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Like Forrest Gump. He was probably in Maine when they found him.
Yeah. Still running.
I'm running.
So someone like BJ and Tori, who are world class shooters. I mean, anyone can be a world class shooter, but a very competitive shooter by just practice. Not like some skills or muscles or gym time or anything. It's practice, right?
Practice. If you get with an instructor that can teach you how to compete, there are several world-class instructors that are good for certain reasons. One of my good friends is JJ Ricazza, multi-time world champion. He was also at the Air Marshal Service with me, but he was an instructor at the academy. And JJ, he's really good at using his feet. Not only can he shoot like a wizard, but he runs and he'll tell you how to run and how to stop and how to slow down when you're running between obstacles to shoot. Oh. Yeah, wow. So he's good at that.
Yeah.
And then there are other guys that are really good at, target acquisition. They can, acquire the target really fast.
Awesome.
And so, they're good in their own right for a lot of different reasons.
Yeah. Well, even John too, when we were at the range, people were shooting kind of all over the place, not consistently a bit, and he just made some simple hand adjustments and one small little drill. Yeah. And I mean, these guys going from trying to get in a circle this big, I think one of them even put it right back to the same hole he shot the first time.
That's my deal. I tell them, if you do what I tell you to do or what I ask you to do when I ask you to do it, your shot pattern will go from, shotgun spread, getting your money's worth for the target, I call it, all the way down to quarter size, and you'll be shooting the same hole. And in your class, we had that Marine.
Yeah.
He was 24-year, Marine, retired.
Yeah.
And he was shooting all over. He had a passing score. He was inside the 7 ring.
Yeah.
And he was all in there, though. And I said, let me show you something. So I, told him to exaggerate his right arm, make it feel like you're touching the target with the palm of your hand.
Okay.
Exaggerate his left hand, make it feel like your arm's straight, touching the target with the thumb of your hand. And when you put those two together, and then a combination of how to press the trigger, I produced this thing that I learned from my dad. Basically, it's based on physiology.
Okay.
So when you squeeze the trigger and hold it, this tendon that's in your finger is attached to this muscle here. And as you squeeze the trigger and hold it to the rear, the firearm will recoil. Well, that's no action that you're causing to happen. It's the physics of the firearm recoiling and climbing.
Wow.
And so when that does that, it releases this tendon a little. But then when the gun comes back down, it comes down to the same exact spot you first squeezed the trigger, and it's like a shelf under it.
Straight
it just
back
keeps
onto
going
it.
like that. It's the same spot. So then all you have to do is target, acquire left and right instead of up and down. So the gun comes back down. You just make fine movements left and right.
Yeah.
Boom, squeeze again.
It was awesome.
It's amazing.
Like, I mean, you're sitting there.
Yeah, he did it. He did it. He shot through the same hole several times.
I mean, when you're seeing like everyone there who appears to be, very well familiar with their guns the situation, and they're still kind of going all over the place, and just the little adjustments. And I'm sure there's a list of other adjustments that you could really do to.
You can continue on, but we give them the real quick. It's funny because we used to ask people what their level of experience was when they came and shot, and I don't do that anymore because these guys would come in and say, I'm a sergeant commander at Salvation Army, Sniper Delta, Jack
Salvation Army.
Yeah. And then they'd come out to the range and they couldn't shoot worth shit. So I'd embarrass them on purpose.
Yeah.
I go, don't boast about how well you shoot in class. Show it at the range.
Yeah, for sure.
And you don't need to tell everybody that you're a badass, just, getting, added tattoos and growing your beard longer and doing all that stuff. They're just doing all this stuff that,
the cool factor to it.
The cool factor, yeah. And, I'm half Filipino. I can barely grow, hair on my face. Got 2 tattoos you can't see. It's not a tramp stamp either.
Sure. We can't see him, so we'll never know.
Yeah. What's the butterfly's name?
It's a unicorn jumping over a rainbow.
Even cooler. Cooler than a butterfly right there. When I feel like, so it's kind of dating back a little bit. When the movie John Wick came out, I feel like the gun scene almost exploded because, dude, John Wick, and it's a cool thing, and like, dude, it's hair and tactical and all that stuff. Like, did you see that? Did you see that happening when kind of those things made an
as
impression?
soon as John Wick movie came out, everybody wanted a staccato.
Yeah, of course.
And they're like, if you get them here in California, off roster, private party, they're $4,000.
Yeah.
But everybody wanted one of those.
Yeah.
And they thought that if they got one of those in their hand, they'd shoot like John Wick. And that's such a misnomer.
Yeah.
You can pick up a shitty gun if you're a good shot and shoot it.
Yeah.
Even with no sights on it. I've seen old men pick up a 22 and shoot, the ass off a fly. And, with no sights. I've seen those guys do that.
So cool.
It's just that they're so familiar with the firearm.
Yeah.
So these young guys were carrying appendix and they're, growing their beards out and, doing the chair exercises to get all, svelte looking. And, they looked badass, but they can't shoot. I had a guy that worked for me for a little while. It was the same way. He had all the cool stuff. He couldn't shoot. Wow. And so, I'm like, nah.
What is, I guess, 2 things. What is a good gun for a female protection at home? Say like my fiance, what's a good gun to get her to keep there that she can figure out how to shoot something that's not too powerful but to keep her safe? And then what's a good gun for a male to go out there and get?
Okay, so that's kind of a loaded question, no pun intended. But do you have a single story, 2-story house?
Single story.
Single story house. The kind of the rule is people say, well, you just get the largest caliber that you can effectively manage. Okay, so largest caliber that she can actually shoot.
Yeah.
So you go into a Turner's or, some of these other gun stores, and unfortunately the guys behind the counters aren't really adept, or versed in what a great gun is for a woman.
Yeah.
They just think that if they give them the smallest one and it has a little bit of pink or Tiffany blue on it, that they'll be satisfied. But, the smaller the gun, the more, you can feel it. Mm-hmm. So they get them these little tiny 38 specials, and they feel like you're holding a firecracker in your hand when you squeeze the trigger.
It's almost misleading though too.
It is totally
much
misleading. Yeah. And a revolver, you get 5 shots, 6 shots, depending on the firearm. But the unfortunate thing is they're hard to reload when you're scared.
For sure. No, you're like,
you got several other moving parts that you got to figure out. And then how are you going to carry, extra bullets? Yeah. So, what we do is we don't make any recommendations on firearms until we see the student.
Cool.
And we have them shoot a whole bunch of ours.
Nice.
And then we go, which one felt more comfortable in your hand? Which one felt more manageable? And then based on their target, we say, okay, then this is the firearm that we would suggest you have. Now, I asked you upstairs or downstairs for a reason.
I was going to ask, why does that matter?
So if you're upstairs and your fiance's upstairs more often and somebody breaks into the house, shotgun's good to have upstairs. You just boom, downstairs, and don't even go downstairs. Just, you got to do some drywall work maybe.
Yeah,
but,
whatever.
Yeah, but a pistol's a little harder at that point.
Makes sense, yeah.
Also, the shotgun gives them a little bit of time. So if somebody's kicking in the door, they can just get the shotgun, rack around in there.
True.
And, aim it over the balcony or whatever, or sit in bed, wait till they come in the door, and
He's ready for it.
Yeah, ready for it. It helps them become a little bit more comfortable because all they got to do is point that thing.
That's true. Yeah. You don't have to have a...
And you can own guns and weapons inside your home without
Absolutely.
the CCW.
Yeah.
You can still protect yourself.
Yep.
Do everything.
You can have them loaded and just hanging around.
Ready
Unless you live in LA, they got to be locked up in a safe.
Really?
Stupid. Yeah.
LA County.
LA County, you got to... If you, I think it's LA City actually.
Okay.
So if you live in LA City, the ruling is that if you have a firearm, it must be locked in a safe at all times.
Wow.
That's stupid. I have a place in Montana. There's guns everywhere there.
Yeah.
And at my office, all the girls are armed. I'm armed. And if they need to get, more guns, there's guns around the office.
Yeah.
So, children, let's say you have young children, let's go 5 to 10 in the house, they're curious and stuff. At that point, do you think it's a better move to just keep all your weapons locked up or at a young age kind of teach them and prepare them and let them understand it so the curiosity is gone?
I'd keep them locked up until you can get them to a class. And we do a kids class. It's through the NRA called Eddie the Eagle.
Nice.
And it's a cartoon, basically. And he's a bald eagle, and he'll teach the kids, like if you see a gun, don't touch it, go tell your parents, Yeah. Now, kids are kind of like raccoons, though. If they see something on the cartoon and the eagle says, you just saw a gun, go tell your mom. Kids aren't like that these days. So we go a little bit further and we tell them, the bad things that can happen with that.
Yeah.
Kind of put a little bit of fear in them so that they understand that they're not toys.
Yes.
And even if they see it, obviously they need to go tell their parents. But we take it a step further and say, lock them up until we can get the kids out to show them what to do in the class, get them in the class, talk to them. And then when they see it, then they understand it a little bit better.
That's cool.
But the, we try to, make the kids feel like they're a part of this, not that it's something that everybody else gets to do except them. Yeah. So we'll teach them young.
Yeah.
My daughters, I started out when they were 5.
Okay, well.
Yeah, and at 6, my little one Gabby was doing 22 competitions.
Rad.
Yeah, and she was like, "This is fun, Dad." Ding, 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 ding. And she was enjoying it. She was getting a big kick out of it. My mom was a little upset. She's like, sure. Every time you bring your daughter here, she's wearing jeans and a sweatshirt or something. I go, yeah. She goes, she's a girl. She needs to wear a dress.
Like, she's gonna be a girl her whole life.
Yeah, exactly.
She can wear a dress later on when I'm not with her.
Yeah. But they know how to shoot. So
yeah, but they know how to shoot and they do well. And I don't worry as much. I used to think, man, I got girls. I'm so lucky because if I had boys that have broken arms and chipped teeth from motorcycles and doing whatever, and then I started thinking about it, and then they got to boyfriend age, and I'm like, I'm scared. Boyfriend age. I'm like, I need to. I have a backhoe on standby in case I need to bury some dude out in the desert.
Because she's gonna call you saying she shot him.
Yeah,
exactly. She's gonna take care of herself.
But I just didn't want him to come across some shady dude.
Of course.
And that's
Always.
life. That
life.
might happen, but. Now, she'll be able to handle herself.
Why do you like some of these people that have CCWs? You hear some of these stories about people shooting themselves. What are they doing wrong?
They're just not careful. They're careless. The biggest offense is your finger going to the trigger. We give somebody
Master
at
grip.
the class. Yeah, there you go. You see, you were listening. We give somebody at class one warning. If their finger goes to the trigger when it shouldn't be, we give them one warning. After that, we ask them to leave.
Yep.
And it's usually
Smart,
not
you
good.
have to.
Yeah.
How often do you have to ask people to leave?
It's kind of rare.
Okay.
It's kind of rare, but every once in a while we'll run across some dude that he says, I didn't have my finger on the trigger, and we'll ask him to leave, and he'll be belligerent, So we said, well, we're going to hold on to your guns. And
because that's kind of a touchy subject.
And we're going to call the cops, and they're going to escort you off the range, and then we'll give the gun to the cop,
Wow.
We don't want anybody getting upset.
No, for sure.
But believe it or not, it doesn't matter what side of the political aisle you have. There are people that can't keep their thoughts in their head without going stupid.
Well, and that's one thing in the class too. They speak a lot about mentally where your mindset's at and why you're trying to do this and why you want to do this. And make sure you have the right mindset. Because you do want mindful people carrying the gun. You don't need crazy people out there who think irrationally, and it's almost like we need to make people take aptitude tests or something.
I mean, it's almost like a mini background that we do when we're just in class talking, because I ask people questions, and based on their answers, I could tell if that guy's there or not, or that girl's thinking about things. But believe it or not, in our NRA basic classes, that's where we find or we find out more about the student then, because we ask them, why are you here? Cool. They've never shot a gun before, or maybe they have very little experience, and they show up, and some of the stories are heartbreaking. Like we had a young woman who said, my dad killed himself with a gun, and I don't want to be afraid of guns anymore. And it's like, that's so heavy.
That's so heavy.
It's so heavy when they come in.
Tear up a little bit just thinking about it.
I do. And I usually go over there and I sit with them. I put my arm around them and I said, look, we're going to do everything we can to make you feel comfortable here.
Cool.
And as long as you don't feel like you want to hurt yourself or whatever, then we'll continue on. And they're like, yeah, I love it. And these women come and they want to feel comfortable with a whole bunch of women and not a lot of dudes.
Yeah.
And so we do women only classes.
Nice.
So the women come. I mean, it's something that I hold very near and dear to me to be able to do that.
That's cool.
You probably enjoy the women classes more than the men classes because they're just more real. There's no egos or anything.
Yeah, there's no egos. And the amazing thing is, women that have never shot a firearm before, they come to class, they pay attention, they're intently into listening to what we say, and then they go to the range and they shoot like a marksman.
That's cool.
They've never shot before, and they go, oh my God. My dentist came in, and she was, she's a very attractive woman, and I used to go to the dentist just to go.
Cleaning,
that's what I needed when I was younger.
I think my tooth hurts.
My teeth weird.
She's gonna drill my face, and I'm still, eager to go.
Still drilling.
But she married an MMA guy, and 4 months after their kid was born, he broke her jaw, and she was petrified after that. He got put in jail, and then he was getting out, and she came to me and she goes, I need to do a class. And she came in, and I didn't recognize her because she was so nervous, and she looked totally disheveled. She looked like a 2 a.m. Walmart shopper.
Wow.
And I was like, what, really? That's you?
Yeah.
And so she came in and she sat down and she listened to the whole class. And by the end of the class, man, she walked out of there going, I feel so much better.
That's awesome.
And she ended up buying a gun. She has her CCW and she's not afraid of anything anymore.
So for the ladies and like, his fiance and my wife, they don't have to have a gun before they go to the basic class.
We provide all the guns and the ammo. Yeah. We let them shoot all our guns, and then if they want to move up into caliber to a 9mm or something else, then we let them use our guns.
So now your basic NRA class, does that also do rifles and pistols?
It's
How does that
pistol
work?
only.
Pistol only. Okay, cool.
Yeah, the NRA put out this class, and although they've updated over the years, it's really still from the 50s. They cram a whole bunch of stuff into it, and we take all that extra stuff out. We say, on this basic class, we just want you to shoot.
Cool.
We don't care about you taking it apart and cleaning it and,
Doesn't matter right now.
Yeah, all that stuff doesn't matter right now. We're going to teach you how to do this, just this one thing, and then you're going to go to the range and prove that you can do it.
Cool.
And they do. They come and they go like, "Oh my God, I never thought I could do this."
That's awesome.
Yeah, and they get a big charge out of it, and they're excited.
Yeah. We
We make them feel comfortable. They're with our petite, girls that are so sweet. I mean, you met them. I used to answer the phone when people called the CCW line, and I got to say, some people aren't the sharpest tool in the shed, and they would ask stupid questions. And to me, I guess I that's where I figured out where crotchety old men came from, because I became one. Some guy would call me and go, just ask me this dumb question, and I'm like, really? And I'd kind of lose my temper, and then Kelly's like, you need to let me start answering the phone because you're
angry. Don't be angry at these guys.
I'm sure they feel the same thing like I felt when I, after going through the class and stuff, is that I was hungry for just more knowledge.
Information. Yeah.
And just hungry for more time, hungry to it was exciting. It was rewarding. And then it was eye-opening too. Just like, wow, there's so much more to learn.
Yeah.
I can't wait to learn more about it.
And that's kind of how we leave them on purpose, so that they stay in it. They get into it and they keep going.
And so after that, there's multiple steps, multiple classes, all the way up to like almost professional shooting.
Mm-hmm. We can go all the way to advanced shooting, pistol, rifle, shotgun. Yeah, and we do. A lot of our students come back and they go, gosh, that was so much fun. I want to do more. Yeah.
Cool.
And then with Casey Castillo from Castillo Harper Law Group, we do a law class, so that when people get their CCW and they go, gosh, is that legal? Can I do that? It's kind of hard to find that information online.
Yeah.
So we have an attorney who is expert in use of force, and then we talk to the DAs and they tell us exactly what is a person able to do, and we host those law classes and we do
that
fun
was
stuff.
the most comforting part too, because also too, when you're in the moment, you're trying to keep your head straight and stuff, like you don't even really know what to say, you don't know what to do, and the insurance that you are paying, which is really cost effective, is nice to know you already have someone on your back ready if this situation ever presented itself.
If you have to shoot somebody.
Yeah, that's USCCA, United States Concealed Carry Association, and they are fantastic.
Yeah.
Because if, let's say you use a firearm, a baseball bat, a knife, or a car in a use of force situation you're using it in self-defense to defend the life of your loved ones or yourself. Even if you do everything right and a jury exonerates you and the DA says, no charges filed, everything was justified, you're going to get sued. By the family or by somebody who got their feelings hurt or somewhere along the line, you're going to get sued. And that's the part that's going to wreck somebody.
Okay.
So your financial life will be ruined unless you have some sort of coverage. And we found, of all the different agencies that provide any kind of insurance, we found USCCA to be the most comprehensive. They offer training. They offer just a lot of benefits. Their apps are amazing. Their reciprocity app is really bitching because, so like you talked about your Arizona-Utah CCW. If you got your Arizona-Utah CCW and you had the reciprocity app with the location services enacted, then as you're crossing the border from California into Arizona, the app would pop up and it'll say, these are the laws in Arizona.
Wow.
Yeah, and they're updated regularly. Then you cross the border into New Mexico or whatever, these are the laws in New Mexico.
Changing.
Yeah, and it tells you everything about the CCW laws in those states.
That's awesome.
It's amazing. And
So
there's
cool.
no other company that offers that or does that. And so I think, for a company that really looks out for their members' best interest, that's the best one. That's why I chose, to be a partner of theirs.
Yeah.
And
when you're in this class and they're presenting it, every single person signs up for it.
yeah,
Like every single person signs up. I mean, probably rare that
it's-
someone doesn't sign up for it.
it is rare. It is
Wow.
rare. And then usually it's just based on somebody's financial situation at the time.
Yeah.
But you don't have to pay it all at once. And the coolest thing about it is, for the lowest program they have, I think it's $29 a month. That's like going through a drive-through.
Yeah, it's nothing.
It's nothing.
Yeah.
And at the end of the year, if you didn't use anything and you go, I really need that money back. At the end of the year, you can say, hey, I need all my money back. And they'll give you 100% of your money back.
Really?
Yeah. Who does that?
Wow.
I take somebody's money, it's gone.
Yeah.
I spent it before they gave it to me.
Right? It's already gone. Wow.
And so, I mean, that's a great service. You can just say, hey,
Yeah.
I'm dissatisfied with, whatever, or,
Yeah.
or I just don't want it anymore, or hey, I got a bill I didn't expect. I want my money back.
Wow.
Yeah, and they'll give you your money back.
That's wild.
Yeah. So,
And you sign back up the next year?
Yeah, you can sign right up after they give you your money back.
Wow.
It's crazy.
Interesting.
It's a weird loophole.
Yeah, it's a really
They're really a company that cares about its members,
good.
and there's not a lot of those anymore.
Yeah.
And
And they're always there to
I mean, you
have your
felt
back.
like you just could not do it. Like,
Yeah.
and they're like, well, I have to have this.
Yeah,
I mean,
now I
'cause
need it.
there are so many scenarios, about what is, the right
what's
opportunity,
justifiable
what's
and-
justifiable, and everything's going to be argued 100 different ways.
Of course, yeah.
And it's all
scary.
opinions.
Nothing's ever just black and white. Yeah,
Nothing.
you shoot the guy or you
You're
don't.
good, yeah.
You know?
I mean, think about it. If
Everything
that
is-
happens, you have to retain an attorney right out of the gate.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Because you can't say anything. Otherwise, it'll all be used against you.
You
right?
can't call your cop buddies and say, hey, dude, I just blasted this guy, because
No.
he swore an oath and he's got to make that
Yep.
evidence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can't talk to anybody except your attorney.
So
So
they're
ultimately,
your attorney.
if you have that app, you can just like go on the app, like, hey, I just shot somebody.
Yeah, and you get a card. You
Yeah.
get
Or
a
you call
membership
them or
card
whatever,
with
yeah.
the phone number. But I mean, how many times have you ever? I mean, you think about this. You get in a use of force situation where you have to defend yourself, and you shoot a guy, and the cops come, and they go, "What happened?" You go, "I'd like an attorney," and they come like that.
Yeah.
Casey had one instance where the guy was coming out of a liquor store or something in Brawley, right? He comes outside and there's a guy at his car with a gun.
Wow.
And-
Brawley?
Yeah, in Brawley.
Damn.
And this guy pulls his gun and shoots the guy in self-defense, right? He calls USCCA and he says, yeah, my attorney on record is Casey Castillo. Casey gets out to Brawley from Canyon Lake before they even removed the body.
Oh my God.
That's how fast she showed up.
Yeah.
And you know how far it is to Brawley.
Yeah.
They're still
It's a
doing the
2-hour drive.
investigation. That dude's, croaked on the road.
Damn.
And she's out there. And she's with her client, and her client
That's
got
awesome.
off.
And so the
because
best thing is not to say anything in that
you
situation.
say,
I just want my attorney.
attorney. Yeah.
all.
You can cooperate with them, and you should. They're going to come ask you what happened. Well, that guy right there, he came at me with a knife. He said he was going to kill me.
Yep.
I drew my firearm, and I shot to stop the threat.
Yeah.
You don't say you shot to kill the guy.
Yeah.
I shot to stop the threat. There he is. There's his knife. I'm here. I want my attorney.
Yep.
That's
At
it.
that point, you just,
Yeah. And they're amazing.
Now, what if it was a fake knife or a fake gun?
Do you want to take the time to find out when he's
Okay.
inserting it into
Yeah,
your
yeah.
belly?
Yeah, no.
doesn't matter.
You go, hey, that's fake. It just bent. No, you don't know.
Would you? I mean, I don't know if you can answer this, but is there a? I mean, what were you guesstimate? Like, is it 1 in 100 people have a CCW or?
That's a good question. I don't know that ratio of firearms, but I
If
will
you were
tell
to
you.
guess,
Yeah.
would it be higher or lower than that? You would say.
I'd say it's lower than 100.
1 in 100?
Well, I'd say it's probably 1 in 100. Maybe yeah. But it's growing.
It's growing
Getting more,
rapidly.
yeah.
When
it's hard to-
when I got my CCW, I got it through Sheriff Sniff, and during the time he was the sheriff of Riverside County for 9 years, I believe, and he issued 4,000 the total time he was in.
Wow.
Okay, 4,000. Chad Bianco comes into office and he issues 4,000 in his first week.
Wow.
Yeah, he's pushing like 50,000 right now.
Damn.
You know,
that is so awesome.
Yeah.
It's so much better for our society.
Yep.
You know, bad guys are going to start thinking twice. You know, but what they have to do is publicize it, and they say, "Hey, people are getting CCW units, you bad guys." Like when they process them and put them in jail, there should be a thing there that says, "This many people got their CCW in Riverside."
Yeah,
you know?
Or like a clicker that's just constantly clicking every time someone gets it.
That would be cool.
That'd be cool.
That'd be really cool, actually.
Like one of those Vesta boards.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing.
But they should have that when they go to jail, so that when they get out, they go, "Oh wow, that number was this when I got in."
A lot of people have guns
and now it's even more when I get out.
It's a scare tactic.
Well, I mean, you know, our news, the news isn't ever really promoting anything like that, where a CCW actually was put in a situation, was able to protect themselves. But social media, though, I mean, there's a lot of current events. We've seen a lot of recent stuff that's really probably helped promote it. Make people feel more comfortable.
Yeah.
And I mean, the fact that you like come on here too and talk more about it, I think is so much, because there's a lot of unknown for people.
There's so much unknown. People are apprehensive. You know, they still don't know the law changed, because where did that get advertised? Nowhere, really.
Yeah.
The news didn't even carry it.
I mean, why wouldn't like Bianco's, you know, office or the sheriff department like put out a campaign to promote this?
You know, it's a good question. I know that periodically the sheriff's department is actively promoting CCWs. It's money for them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the coolest thing is, you know, he doesn't just hand them out to whoever. He does a background check. He's got a whole bevy of investigators that sit there and they go, well, this guy's he's just saying he's not getting one. This guy's a good guy. You know, they look at their backgrounds and then they issue them. So I do know that the sheriff's department has a website that promotes CCW issuance, and they also list the people like us that do the classes. They could probably do more, but it's money that goes to them so that they can purchase new equipment.
Yeah.
You know, he just added a helicopter 3 years ago.
Awesome.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
You know
what they're doing with it.
Yeah, they're doing tons of search and rescues, and people are living because of it.
Amazing.
You know,
awesome.
They're getting better equipment. They have shooting teams within the sheriff's department that, you know, go do competitive shooting.
Wow.
So that if they were involved in a shooting, they hit their target.
Yeah.
You know, there are a lot of police departments that are deficient in training, and usually the first thing to go is their firearms training, because it's expensive.
Yeah.
So they just, you know, they may not get in a shooting, you know, for a couple of years, and then they go out and they got to shoot 10 times before they hit the guy.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So,
well, I'm sure we can go on, and I might have to have a part 2 to this too.
I'd
We don't want to give away all your secrets,
Yeah,
but I have a question. Published author.
Oh yeah. So I write for 2 magazines. They're Beckett magazines. American
Beckett Media.
Yeah. American Survival Guide, and I've written for Recoil magazine, but I write for Beckett.
Okay.
Yeah. Off Grid and American Survival Guide.
Wow.
And I'll talk about things that are you know, in our society, things that are happening in our society, like they're talking about Yellowstone erupting here pretty soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I've written
they've been
about
talking about
natural
that forever.
disasters. That's true, they have, but now lately there's some, like, you know, seismic things that they're going, oh, wait a second. You know, and that's
Scary.
a huge volcano over
Yeah.
there.
Wasn't it one of the biggest?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I got a trip planned end of February there.
Do you?
Yes,
Well,
yeah.
I mean, I'm going up there
I've been so
tomorrow.
Are you?
Well, Mammoth.
Oh, Mammoth, yeah.
I mean, a lot closer than here.
A lot closer than here, yeah.
Yeah. So,
Wow.
but yeah, I'm you know, I write about stuff like that, and then I'll do a product review once in a while on something that I thought was really cool, and then write about it in those magazines, and it's fun.
That is
so awesome. Okay, so where do the people go to get more information?
For CCW, they go to riversideccwtraining.com.
Okay, and if they want basic training,
Yeah, same
Same
place.
thing. Same thing.
Yeah, NRA basics classes there.
Cool.
Now, can they go on? I mean, do they have to pick up the phone and call, or
no? They can get on the website and just follow the tabs, and it'll direct them to specific classes and information on the classes. And if they do need to call, they can call. And phone number's listed there. Yeah, and talk to somebody. They're gonna get Kelly because she's nicer than me.
Nice. That's probably good.
I don't know. You seem pretty nice.
No, I don't know.
Unless you ask stupid questions.
Yeah, unless you ask stupid questions, or unless you're posing a threat.
Yeah, exactly. Either way, none of those two.
Yeah.
Is there social media?
On Instagram and Facebook, and then TikTok. Well, TikTok is Ricky and Lucy Raccoons.
Oh, is
nice.
it? Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Ricky and Lucy. Or actually, it's Ricardo and Lucille.
Ricardo and Lucille.
Yeah.
So that's where we see the raccoons.
Yeah, you can see the raccoons.
How many do you have? Two,
brother and sister.
So
yeah, they're
badass.
just over a year and a half old.
Oh,
they're wild.
So awesome.
They're so cool.
That's amazing.
They're my
man.
babies.
I love it.
Yeah, we raised them. Kelly and I raised them since they were 3 days old.
Wow.
Yeah, so
Unreal.
That's neat.
This is so wild.
Different world right there.
Yeah, people come in, they look, they go, "What?" They're like, "How'd you catch them?" I go, "I didn't catch them. They're my pets."
Yeah, they're my pets. I didn't steal
You're like,
them.
oh, they're just running on the wall, so I grabbed one.
Yeah. Now we have two. It's awesome.
That's awesome. Okay, so Instagram was Riverside CCW.
So Instagram's riversideccwtraining.com or
Riverside Training.
Riverside, CCW
Same thing
Training.
with Facebook.
Same thing with Facebook. Cool. Yeah. And we have a whole bunch of different URLs. So if somebody types in something there, it's going to bring them to our website.
Okay.
Is there any urgency to get this started now?
I say there is all the time because we never know how the laws are going to change. You know, and believe it or not, in our state, our legislators issue these laws and bills that are unconstitutional. And nobody challenges them.
Yeah.
Like one in particular that you learned in class is that you can't carry a firearm in the state capitol. Mm-hmm. That's because, or in the governor's mansion. That's because the governor made these laws. They're unconstitutional because who owns the state capitol? We the people.
Oh.
It's our property.
Yeah.
They're just renting it. And so there are states where people march to the Capitol with their firearms and they go knock on the door and their legislator comes out. They talk to them about laws and whatever, and they go home. Nobody gets shot.
Yeah.
And you can't do that here in California. And I think it's because Newsom's afraid of people who are right thinkers.
Yep.
I mean, just because we like guns doesn't make us fanatics.
No.
It doesn't make us crazy. I'm not a religious person. I'm spiritual. I'll go to church with my girlfriend.
Yeah.
But I won't, use my gun unless I really need to.
Yeah.
And they think that we will. They think that CCW holders or lawful firearms enthusiasts will use their firearms inappropriately, and we don't. Statistics prove it. We don't.
It's not a toy. It's a tool to preserve life.
Yes.
Yeah, and a sporting item to enjoy the outdoor sports.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So, this has been amazing,
man. This has been so awesome, yes. Thank you for all the
information. I appreciate you guys
asking
me to come out. It's awesome.
No, this has been so cool.
We'll definitely put your headers on tomorrow now.
Yeah. And then I'm going to get out there and bring my fiance. And
bring her, yeah.
I think my mom wants to do it too, so get her out. And
my
dad's a big gun guy too, so.
Yeah. I mean, having gone through it and being, kind of having some of those same reservations about the process and being uncomfortable, I can tell everyone, go do it. Whether it's with John or anyone locally in there, it is not what you think. It's much more, I don't want to say easy, but it's an easier feeling than what you think. You're going to go in nervous because of the unknown.
Of course.
And once you're there, it's so relaxing and it's real. Like
you'll come in with people that have varied experience. Some people that are experts and some people that don't have any experience.
It's so cool.
And everybody's there for the same reason, and they all have to do the same thing, no matter what their level of experience was. And when they do it, they feel comfortable. And it's fun. There's some funny videos that we show. Yeah. There's some gruesome stuff that you see.
There are some gruesome ones too. Whoa. Like it really makes you think about like, okay.
Yeah.
You start asking yourself the question, am I actually prepared to do this?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you start thinking about it in the end and you're like, if somebody's coming at me to take my life or my wife's life or one of my loved ones' life, you're like, I would do that. Yeah. Like what you that thought process, it becomes a very simple answer.
Yeah. It doesn't make you a murderer, No. It doesn't make you a warmonger or anybody that is just out to satisfy an urge.
Yeah.
It makes you think about this. In Riverside County, crime has risen 60% in the last year.
Oh my God.
That doesn't mean the sheriff's not doing a good job. He's doing a great job.
Yeah.
But it's easier to prey on people here because it's so expanse, you know. So
that's crazy. Well, thank you very much. We appreciate it. You guys go check out RiversideCCWtraining.com for more information. And we'll put everything below. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, buddy. That was awesome.
Whoa! Who knew I would make it this far? They hated, they never believed me. Yeah, I would never drop the ball. I know I make it look easy. Yeah, Mayweather with the defense. I don't care what a critic got to say. I got them picking up the pieces.